10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, Wrestle Talk Podcast family. Hey, it is my pleasure to be here tonight to introduce my co-host here in a moment and to say welcome to the Sorry about that, guys. The Wrestle Talk family. We just want to say welcome, and we are glad that we're here. And tonight, my co-host for a show we're going to call the FWWC Tonight 2.0. And we'll get into that just a little bit later. But tonight, to help me out to host this edition of Wrestle Talk Podcast is none other than owner, CEO, operator of his own little shop here, which we're going to do in a minute. And he is an FWWC superstar, the one, the only Ace.
Man, I had you all tongue-tied. You ain't even introduced me yet, and you can barely get it out your mouth. That's bad.
I'm telling you. It's just such a pleasure to be here with you. You know.
Oh, yeah.
And I was trying to say the CEO and owner of...
Not FWWC.
Right. And I was trying to say the owner, operator, ladies and gentlemen, of Doomed Outfitters.
Doomed Outfitters, right?
That's right. Hey, for those of you who don't know, this is the guy who fits the FWWC with our new titles. Mine's coming. And if you can see in my background there, you can see what my new one's going to look like. So that's something I'm looking very forward to getting here very shortly. And if you guys saw Haas's when he was on last, when he got his new one, before a certain somebody at WDWA decided to steal his, which he had a little bit of a run-in with that guy's friends this past show, and he is working on getting that one back. So we've got some things in the way.
Yeah, he stepped up and confronted him. I watched that, and I'm like, look at Haas, man. He's getting down to business.
I'm telling you.
Jeez, look at him.
If you guys haven't seen it, check out the WDWA page. Go down there, the Wild Patriot page, and check that out. And you'll see. I'm telling you, Haas let him know that he's looking for one Mr. Samuel Adams. And Sam, if you happen to be watching tonight, you better watch out, buddy. Yeah. But before we get started, there are two things that we have to do. One that, but before we really get going, why don't we thank our sponsors? Go ahead, Ace.
All right. Well, let's thank our sponsors at Retro Zone, Painter's Dream Productions, the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, Doomed Outfitters, owned by yours truly, World Domination Wrestling Alliance, and the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy wrestling group. See? I meant that. Now, see, I'm getting all twisted over here. You know what? It's just been one of them days. I could swear this morning I got up and it seemed like a Monday for some reason. And then I'm like, geez, man, we already got Monday out of the way. I come into work this morning. Everything was all screwed up. And I'm like, you know what? We're just repeating Monday all over again. So that's what we're doing on here. Instead of a Tuesday night, we're going to call this Second Monday.
There you go. Second Monday. That's That's about right too. Oh man, look at this, y'all. We got David Owens out there. Hey David, good to see you. Let's see. We got Zachary out there. Hi, Zach.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. I moderate and embarrass myself.
Again, we've also got David out there saying, "What's up, guys?" And I'm sure we have people watching. I'm telling you, we got people watching from all over the place. So it's good to see you guys out there. It's, we thank you guys so much for, coming out. And it's always a pleasure to have you guys here. Now let me see here. Oh man. Okay. We got to do this. And as much as I don't want to do this, ladies and gentlemen, you know the time it is. It's that time again. The time that's going to either bring tear to your eyes, blood to your ears, or tear to your eye because of the blood in your ears. But we do have to say how much we appreciate the country that we are in, and by playing our national anthem. So, hey, if you've got earplugs, now's a good time. Okay, here we go.
All right, they can send it back here.
Oh
man, nothing screams America like having that just screech in your ears. We need to change over to Jimi Hendrix, man. If you've ever listened to his version of the Star Spangled, or the national anthem over on Woodstock when he played, I'm telling you, we just need to open it up with that. That is awesome. That'll bring a tear to your eye. That's a proud moment. That is just, I'm a huge Jimi Hendrix fan, so that's what we need to swap that over to.
The only problem that we have with a lot of that is sometimes it's copyrighted.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's right.
We can't use it if it's copyrighted,
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
Yeah, unfortunately. But and apparently nobody wants to copyright the version we're currently using. So, it is what it is, right?
So
but
tonight,
once again, we're really glad that we got everybody here tonight. And just to give you a little bit of an update, Ace and I are working on a show. Some of you out there may not know it, but you may know it, especially if you have been a part of the FWWC for as many years as I have. A show I once hosted myself. And Ace is going to be doing some of the hosting of this new FWWC Tonight 2.0. Now, after a while here, we may be having the Night Owl may be stopping by, and we'll do a little more talking about it with him when he gets here. So we are looking forward to talking with him a little bit about it, and we'll get a little more in depth as to what's going to happen. And at this time, Ace, was there anything that you wanted to talk about real quick before we maybe get into some high spots?
Yeah. So I know we have a segment where we have somebody come on. Of course, if our guy comes on tonight, he's going to do a prayer and stuff like that. So a segment that I want to do, and I'll go ahead and touch on this in the FWWC tonight. We will have a prayer segment. We will be taking prayer requests. So it's tonight. We can start tonight. If anybody has prayer requests, if anybody has something on their heart, their mind that they need praying about, message me, message Suzy, message any of us in the group, and send that to me. And I'll make sure that when we do our show and we host it, that's touched on, that them prayers get brought up, and that we send that out to everybody, because we know there's power in prayer. That's been proven so many times. And we want to make sure that y'all know that we care and that y'all's prayers are being, brought up. So by all means, if y'all have any kind of prayer requests starting tonight and from here on out, just send it to us, and we'll make sure on every show we touch up on that. So that's what I was going to throw out there.
Right. And hopefully, a Big Daddy P is going to be on shortly. So if you have any prayer requests out there, by all means, throw them out there for us. And when he comes on, we'll be sure to, get those up for you. And, we're hoping he's going to be here in a little while. And we know Dewan Mills is going to be stopping by after a while here. And he's going to be bringing us up to date on, the latest happenings in the FWWC. We had a pay-per-view this past weekend. We've got some number one contenders for some titles. And, there's going to be a lot of them out there. So Dewan will be coming on to talk a little bit about that. So he's coming out to see us soon. And, like I said, the Night Owl may be stopping by, and you just never know who else may be stopping by. Haas might stop by. You just never know. You could see some of the other hosts from the show stop by at any point. And hey, if we see him pop in the back room, we'll be sure to let him come on and maybe throw some things out there. Ace, I tell you what, there is one thing that I know they used to do on the show a lot, and we don't do it as much anymore. I know that from time to time, Luke Roberts likes to do it. And that's a segment that used to be called, oh man, now I forgot what they called it. But it was a chance for you to get out there, like you get 30 seconds to a minute to kind of talk about what's irking you. It didn't have to be wrestling related. It could be anything you wanted. From, I believe one time I understood that, I believe it was Nightmare Jones talked about the air in a bag of chips and how it upset him.
Okay, so speaking of that, that is actually going to be a segment on the FWWC tonight, and it's going to be called Ace in the Hole, where it's going to be a segment where basically I'm just running my mouth about something random, just the same thing, something that irks my nerve. That's why it's called Ace in the Hole, because some of that is just my opinion. It's how I feel, and I know a lot of people's going to disagree. It's going to put me in the hole, so hey, Ace in the Hole. I kind of agree with that. That's kind of funny. If you want to do that, I'm telling you, I got a couple of things I want to touch on.
Yeah, sure. Right now, just basically, I don't know how many people know this, but in my shoot life, as you would call it, I have been practicing to drive a school bus. I have, been working on getting my CDL license, and I went last Thursday for my testing. I did my pre-trip stuff, and I passed with flying colors. I had to do some parallel parking and driving a straight line, backing a straight line, backing up and backing down another lane. I did all of that, and I was perfect. I even got on the road and did a perfect test. As I was finishing it, I backed into a fence.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, that was just an immediate fail. So I have to go back this Thursday, and I have to take the driving part of it again. And of course, parking the bus, and this time not hitting the fence. And I will pass it. But it just, it was just so heartbreaking for me that I had done so well. I had passed it. The examiner was telling me how great I'd done and how happy she was and how proud of me she was. And then boom, I touched the fence. And I mean, it wasn't really backed into it hard. I just kind of touched it. And boom, it was an automatic fail. So, it was a lot of hard work, a lot that I've been doing. And then one moment, one minute little thing that just, so hopefully this week I will redeem myself and, get that license. So that's kind of the one thing that's stuck in my craw this week.
I had almost a similar situation though. Anybody that knows, and I've complained about it a lot in my group chats and stuff. I work as a maintenance technician at some apartments, and I have never, and I've done this for many, many years, and I've never come across people as inexperienced as some of the younger ones now. And it's an age thing. It really is. And the older we get, I'm at that point where I feel like I'm going to be the grumpy old guy sitting like in my rocking chair telling them to get the hell off my yard. So I get called to the office, and they have my evaluation. I've been here. It hits my anniversary being with the company, and they tell me, hey, you're doing a great job. You're doing great. We're going to give you a promotion. We're going to give you a raise and all this other stuff. And we love how you've worked with the tenants. They're saying, it's great how you talk to them. Everybody out here loves you, all this stuff. And I'm like, they're just beefing me up, right? And I'm good. This one particular tenant has gotten on my nerves so bad. And I'm not going to say nothing bad in case they're watching it, anyway, they know who they are. So this person had gotten on my nerve for the past couple of weeks because it's repeated. I've been to the same apartment for the exact same thing repeatedly. And I'm keep having to explain it to them like, okay, look, I can teach my 4-year-old grandson not to do this, and he don't do it. And yet I'm here every other day fixing the same issue because you just won't listen. So here it is now. Corporate's in the office. They just give me an evaluation. They're telling me, hey, you're doing great. And this tenant comes in with the same complaint after they just gave me a compliment about how great I've worked with the tenants. And I turn around and I snap at this person. And I'm like, oh, my God, are you that damn stupid that you just done it again? And everybody in the office stopped and looked at me. And I'm like, oh, well, about this evaluation, like, let's talk about this, So it kind of embarrassed me because I'd done so good about keeping my cool with these people and then turn around and just snap at this person. And I'm like, ugh. So, yeah, it takes a lot of patience. And anybody that does maintenance, you know where I'm coming from. And anybody that I'm telling you, from a maintenance standpoint, I'll tell the whole world that's watching right now, there is no such thing as a flushable wipe. Do not put that crap in the toilet. It clogs it up. It does not dissolve like they say. There is no such thing as a flushable wipe. So if there's a tip from Ace today, do not flush wipes. Okay? Do your maintenance guy a favor. Don't flush them. So that's my rambling for today.
There you go. There you definitely go. Oh, Ace, John's tailing there, He says, Ace, stop talking about me just because you can't fix. What was that? Can't fix the issue right. It's not my fault.
Well, I mean, there's only so many times I can unclog the dang toilet now. Man, don't get me started on this one tenant. I've replaced the toilet seat probably like, I kid you not, this is not even exaggeration, 10 times within the past probably 6 months. I've replaced the toilet seat 10 times. They are breaking it. These are wood toilet seats, and they are breaking them. And I'm like, how? Like, just, I don't know. Sometimes now, this is the kind of job where it leaves you scratching your head like every day. And me and my manager, every day, we repeat the same thing almost 10 times a day. We're like, we don't get paid enough for this. We just don't get paid enough for it. We're good. We love our job, but we need to talking some money here. It's like baby.
Papa Haas was a head custodian at a elementary school for years. And, Christmas time, he always got all kinds of gifts and gift cards and candies and cookies and cakes. And I mean, to tell you, he brought that stuff home and we ate for weeks on some of that stuff. But, it was really cool. But I think one of the things that I remember him talking about was, a teacher would call him and say, a student got sick and he had to go to the classroom and clean it up. And I was just like, oh, man, no, I could never, I would never want to be a custodian or, any kind of maintenance person. Because, if I walked in somebody's house and the toilet's stopped up and it's overflow, I could not be nice.
What gets me is not everybody has home training. Not everybody has a sense of cleanliness. That's what gets me. And I'm extremely OCD. I'm not a germaphobe, but I really am picky about what touches me. And when I walk into somebody's place and they have like trash everywhere, or they have 5,000 things up under their sink, and I got to get up under there to fix a pipe, and I'm like, why I shouldn't have to touch your stuff, Or I go in there and there's like dirty clothes all in the bathroom, and I got to get to the toilet, and I'm like, oh, come on, man. But so now that we're on this rambling deal, and this is a wrestling topic. So lately I've seen a lot of this. And what do you think about the repeated kickouts on finishers? Now, this is something that irks me because finishers used to be something very sacred. And to me, it's still very sacred. If you do a finisher, that's it, and maybe one time kicking out. I can understand that if it's a high stakes match. But and I hate to throw this show under the bus because I'm a fan of both. I do watch both. AEW is the world's worst at this. It's every single match. There's 10 to 11 kickouts to finishers. It's almost like their finishers mean absolutely nothing. And then what's really sad is I'm starting to see this a lot more followed in indie shows. I do a lot of indie shows here. I do a lot of security here, local stuff too. And I'm starting to see that more with even the indie shows. And that's the question I have for even the audience or even somebody, because I know in our audience, we have a lot of guys that's in the indie field. We have a lot of guys that's getting into bigger promotions. What's the problem with the kickouts? I mean, are finishers not sacred anymore? Are they just something that's, I could understand every once in a while, like in a high stakes match, but what is the purpose of every single match having 10 kickouts of a finisher? It makes the match just not really, I don't know. To me, it sucks. And it really lessens the value of the actual finisher. So what's your thoughts on that, Suzy?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. John and I have gone to a lot of the independent shows around this area. And lately we've only really been going to one or two. And, I think John and I are always talking about WDWA. And we are really, really fond of WDWA. Gavin Jackson and his family run WDWA. And it's a wonderful promotion. The storylines are believable. They're great. The talent that works for him is phenomenal. And it's a wonderful, wonderful group. And to be honest with you, we do see some kickouts, but not a whole lot of kickouts, per se. And I think one of the things I see a lot, especially in some of the big names, is, it seems like they do a move and then they try to pin. Then they do a move and they try to pin. It's, there's more pinning attempts than anything else in the matches anymore. And, it's just, and that's why I guess you're getting the kickouts, you're 5 minutes into the match. And of course, that you're going to pin this person and you're going to kick out, So I think sometimes that it's just way too many pin attempts. I think, you need to save the pin attempt for the right time. And
And not that it's not entertaining. I love the entertainment factor of it. But once again, once you've seen it in like from this character, okay, then what's next? Like, I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to keep repeating the same flips over and over. Once you've seen it, it's like, okay, yeah, we've seen this. Now you got to try something different. But that brings in a whole nother set of problems because now you got to top this move. And sometimes you put yourself at more risk. You put the other guy at risk. And the dangers doing that, after a while, you're just going to run out of stuff to do. Compared to,
I think one of the best high flyers ever in the business was Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Oh,
I mean, he was the best, in my honest opinion. You know, and then I remember one time I was working many years ago for a cable company, and WWE sent us some tickets one time. And one of my bosses there, he had this thing where he kept always telling me, I don't see what you think, what you like in wrestling. I don't get it. You know, it's fake. I don't get it. You know, all this. And then he took a set of the tickets and he brought some friends and he went to the matches and he was sitting just a few seats down from me. Well, Van Vader was in the ring. And when Vader did that flip off the back rope and he landed on his opponent, my boss turned and looked at me and he said, I get it. He said, that is an athlete for somebody that man's size to be able to do that. He said, that's phenomenal. He goes, I don't care how fake this is. These guys are real athletes. And from that day on, every time I'd go to work, he'd be like, did you see what they did on Monday night? And I was like, yeah, I saw, you know, and he really, I mean, Van just made a fan of him. And it was guys like that who did those things. But then, you know, there are those moves like that. Like, look at Eddie Guerrero, you know, head injury. And, of course, he died because of it, died very young. You know, Owen Hart, you know, fell from the thing, hit the wrong button, fell down in theatricals like that. And some of this stuff that these guys do, I mean, you know, and how many times now has Liv Morgan been out with injuries because of pulled muscles or, you know, pulled out of socket?
Charlotte Flair, to me, I love her style, but Charlotte's been out a lot because of that. Because Charlotte, she has the perfect blend of old school mixed with the newer high flying deals. So her high flying moves are what's really putting her out. Look how many times she's banged up her knees. Look how many times she's messed herself up. And to me, like I said, when is it going to be too far? You get what I mean? Like, when is it taking it too far? I get that you're trying to entertain. I get that you're trying to get that wow factor out of the match, but you could do just as much and get the same kind of results without all that. And I'm not saying I'm not a fan of that kind of style. I believe they should lessen it. I believe it should be strictly between what they consider cruiserweight, if there's such a division as that. And they should bring back more of just that sacred luchador cruiserweight style and keep it there. Not have these big guys like Bronson Reed doing it. And it's not that him doing it's not entertaining, but at the same time, what is the need for that? When you're going to see him doing it now it just kind of takes away from the wow factor. You're like, okay, well, now the big guys are doing it. So now the little guys are going to have to step it up to outdo the big guys. You know, so to me, it has to have a perfect balance. It's because I'm better.
Ace John is really giving you a hard time there. You know, I think it sounds like a challenge to me. You know, I'm smelling a challenge coming.
You know, I feel the only reason John does that is because he knows he can't put that title on the line against me. Like, I can't go for that title. That's why he does it. And me and him, before he won that title, me and him had our fair share of back and forth matches where we pinned each other a bunch of times. And then we had that match, and then that was it. We never really had any closure after that. And we're like, ugh. So I get it. I get it. One day, John, one day.
And what is it? What is it he always teases you about, talking about your track phone?
Yes, man, the Obama phone. Yeah.
You've come a long way, though, since the track phone. You really have.
I really have. I've stepped up. That raise did me some good.
There you go. Well, you know, talking this is really great, but why don't we look and see here about some of our hot topics for tonight? Let's see what we what we've got there. Let's see if I can fire up this randomizer, see if we can get it to work.
Since I guess on the Dragon.
Okay.
Wow. That's almost as bad as one of them smoke detectors
Right.
I hear every.
Yeah, I know, right? So let's see what we've got. What is it coming up with here?
Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay.
That's Jericho.
Mr. Jericho. And what is our question here for Mr. Jericho? For our high spots question, are we ready for a Jericho WWE return? And you know what? Before we answer this, I see someone in the back that I know loves to weigh in on some of these hot topic questions. So let's bring on our buddy, our pal, Mr. DeJuan Mills.
Hold on,
hey,
y'all. Trying to get this
DeJuan.
camera set up. Hold on, I'm trying to get it that way y'all can see my ass.
He's still being blocked by Chris Jericho here.
You said what?
On my end, you're still being blocked by. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Hold on. Trying to get this damn camera set up.
There you go.
Trying to get it because this damn table app. Hold on.
You got that good angle up the nose there. Just there.
Oh, hush, damn it.
There we go.
There we go. All right.
There we go. So we were just doing one of our first high spot questions there. And the question is, are we ready for a Jericho WWE return? Mr. Mills, since you are our guest at this time, why don't you answer that one first? What do you think about a Jericho rerun?
A Jericho return. Timing is everything. You know. Considering Jericho is a future WWE Hall of Famer, I wouldn't mind it. As far as him being heavily involved, because that's kind of seems where things are kind of going in the WWE storylines. You know, things kind of making sense. Jericho being back in WWE, in my honest opinion, if it was a one-offer, cool. But if they do bring him back, I would like to see him in some kind of capacity, because let's think about it. Cena's gone in December 13th officially. Jericho's involvement, you know, as one of the OGs, as one of the legends, if you will. I will call Jericho a legend in the WWE and in professional wrestling. I don't know. We'd have to see where we have to put him. You know, it's all about placement. It's all about timing. It's all about him being in the right spot. So if he were to come back to WWE, maybe Royal Rumble, not sure. We just have to see how it work out for him.
In other words, if the story made sense.
If it makes sense. Yeah, that's all about making sense. Yeah. It has to make sense.
Here you go. Ace, your take?
I agree. Okay. It's all about the timing, and it has to make sense. So for me, the only scenario I think would be perfect for that would be bring him back at the Rumble, obviously for the big pop. I mean, he's Jericho. Bring him back. Let him finish off his career there, but don't let him be heavily into no kind of title pictures, no major main event matches, unless it's like you remember how they brought back the Legends matches? You know, they had like The Rock versus Cena kind of thing. I would love to see him against, say, Seth Rollins or Cody Rhodes, you know, finishing off a feud they had over in AEW or something like that. Just kind of a one or two match kind of thing, maybe saving him for like a high profile type match, you know, maybe, but not like a full-time deal. Possibly as a manager. I would love to see him come back and, you know, have that manager's role for somebody, for like a younger star stepping up. As far as any kind of like major in-ring return, nah, I just watching him over in AEW, not really impressed. He probably should have quit way back, honestly. And, you know, at least in-ring wise, he should have quit way back. I would like to see him retire in WWE, though. You know, that's where he belongs, back in WWE, not AEW.
I think for me, it's, you know, I agree. It would be good to see him retire in WWE. But, you know, for me, it's like John Cena, The Undertaker. For me, I love The Undertaker. Don't get me wrong. I was a huge Undertaker fan. I was a huge Stone Cold fan, but to me, some of these guys just don't know when to hang it up.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. They want to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And Jericho is one of those guys, and I truly believe CM Punk is too, where you've reached an age where it's time to step back and let the younger guys come out. Let the younger guys have the spotlight and let the younger guys carry the torch into the future. Because one day they're going to reach that age and they're not going to know when to quit. And you're going to be sitting at home going, dude, it's time for him to hang it up. Yep. But you're there and you're not hanging it up. So, I think, once you start reaching a certain age where, like with The Undertaker, he was wrestling once, twice a year because every time he wrestled, he got hurt. And when you can't stay healthy and every time you do a match, you get hurt and you got to go out for a couple of months and then come back, it's time to hang it up, And like you're saying, step back, be a mentor to some of the newer guys, help with some of the training. You see some of the guys backstage that run out to help break up fights and stuff. And they're guys that you look at and you go, wow, that dude used to wrestle back in the 80s. Or, hey, I wonder where he's been for forever. And it's time that some of these guys like CM Punk and Jericho and them step back, let the newer guys have it. Your time was there. You did a good job. I'm a huge Redskin fan. And I believe at one point that Joe Gibbs was one of the best, and I don't say that just because I'm a Redskin fan, but I believe Joe Gibbs was one of the top, coaches in the league. He left, he retired, and then he came back. And when he came back, I think he just diminished his legacy. You messed it up, dude. You really did. Because you came back, they didn't do as good with you back, and now people don't look at you as the most winning coach, the best anymore because you came back and tarnished it. And I think some of these guys in wrestling do the same thing. The longer you stay in, look at Ric Flair. Let's be real. Come on. Yep. How many times has he had retirement matches? Come on, this man is in his 60s. Let's hang it up, dude. You were one of the best, but the longer you stay in, the more damage you do to your legacy.
He done damage to his after WrestleMania 24. After that match, the send-off he had, and I'm not saying like he shouldn't have been involved with wrestling. Like he would have been great as a manager. He'd have been great as a general manager. Anything as far as being in the business, that's great. Being in the ring, Ric Flair just did not know when to quit. And I grew up, I'm still a diehard Ric Flair fan. That was my all-time favorite. I just was more disappointed with how he turned out after that. He was still trying to live the lifestyle outside of the ring. He was trying to live the lifestyle in the ring. And it's like, okay, we get it. You were this person back in the day, but now it's time to hang it up. And honestly, Jericho, in a way, doing kind of the same thing. Jericho, if you watch him even out of the ring, he's doing all these shows like with the Rock deal. He's doing all this wild stuff. It's just there comes a point in time where you're ruining any kind of legacy you had. And then that becomes your new legacy. All the newer generation, anybody from I'd say 2010 up, looks at Ric Flair as a complete joke. And that's the problem with Jericho.
Well, and Ric Flair, that whole Lacey Evans storyline, really, come on, Flair. Yeah. That whole thing was just, that almost was as bad as the Mark Henry and Hand and Mae Young thing. That was really,
hey,
I'm like,
now,
dude.
Hold on, wait a minute. Now, when the Hand came back, hold on, badass American Diva. When the Hand came back as a grown adult, that got a big pop, okay?
Okay. He's the same Hand that plays Wednesday on Netflix.
There you go. The Addams Family, and there you go.
Yeah, that's what
I tell you. So, hey, let's do one more of these high spots, and then we're going to give Mr. Mills his time here to talk about the FWWC. So let's see what we got here. If we can. Okay, come on, dude. Up. Okay. I'm trying to find my Is it the band? No, not there. Come on. Okay. Suddenly my okay. The whatever you call this thing. I'll think of it here in a minute. The randomizer doesn't want to work. So
DeJuan broke it.
let's see. Okay, I tell you
I
what.
just got here.
Here's one I've been here's one that we were thinking about. We talked about a little bit in the back room. Let's talk about this one. I heard.
Okay,
Did
I
I
don't
hear
know much
somebody
about
say?
this one. Y'all got to kind of clue me in.
Okay. I'm having a hard time getting this thing to pull up. I think the question here was, that where is that stupid thing coming from? I am trying to find our other thing is still up there. But the question with this one was, a lot of the stars, in entertainment are getting their own shows on the they're getting their own shows on Food Network and all of that. And now Braun Strowman has gotten his own show called Everything on the Menu. How do we feel about that? Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Or is it just a thing?
Well, considering I've never seen the show before, I can only imagine that it's a food show. So is he like a food critic? Is he cooking food, or is he going around doing food reviews, or what is he doing?
I mean, if you've ever seen the Guy Fieri show where Guy goes around doing the, he does the diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Yeah.
Braun is kind of going to do the same thing. He's going to be going to all these different places, trying different things on the menu. He'll be back in the, back in the kitchen, seeing how they're cooked. In fact, if you go to YouTube, you see trailer for it, and in one part of the show, he's cooking and he tells somebody, I didn't get 250 pounds in that accident.
Seriously?
Yeah. So, and he's also up for the role in the new version of, was it Friday the 13th? As Jason Voorhees.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and jump in on this one. I think it's a good thing. I really do. Anytime and is that static?
Somebody's
really loud. Huh? Oh, wow. I don't know what that was. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay.
Oh, we lost him. Well, like I was saying, anytime there is you get a chance to transition into something different. You don't want to be typecast. And I know that happens even in movies. That happens in any kind of sport. Prime example, a lot of the football players, they go off into wrestling. A lot of the football players go off into acting and stuff. And I think that's a good thing for them. Stone Cold, he has a show where he goes around doing all sorts of crazy stuff, and Shawn Michaels has got a hunting show. He's got a fishing show. I think it's great for him, and I don't think necessarily it's going to transition into a Hollywood thing, and that's fine. He don't have to be some big Hollywood actor. Just doing something he likes. He's always said, just like even backstage, if you ever watch any of his interviews, any of the stuff he's talked on, he likes food. And to be passionate about that, just like with wrestling, I think that's a good thing. And for him to play the part of Jason, that's one of my all-time favorite characters. That is my favorite. As far as horror characters, that's my favorite. I want to see his take on it. I think he fits it. If he brings the charisma from that wrestling, persona into it, I think it's going to be good. So I really think that's a good thing for him to transition from that and break away from that typecast of being just this, monstrous wrestler, and that's all you're known for. You know, I mean, and what better guy to do it than somebody of his size that is known for eating? I mean, let's be honest, man. The man can throw down some food. So I think it's going to be a good thing.
Awesome. Well, you know what? Before we get your take on this, Mr. Mills, I want to bring in somebody else who is in the back here. And I want to bring him in and say hello and maybe get his way in on it as well. Ladies and gentlemen, our resident chaplain and one of the good guys here at the FWW, one of the good guys here at Wrestle Talk tonight, our one and only Big Daddy P. Hey,
what are you
Big
doing?
Daddy, how's it going?
A vertical.
There you go. Hey, any day above ground's a good day, right?
That's exactly right. I just came in, so I have no idea what you're talking about. So I'm just going to say that I agree with you.
Smart choice.
Well, the question is that Braun Strowman has now gotten a food show. It's called Everything on the Menu, and he's going to be doing like Guy Fieri, going around from restaurant to restaurant, trying the food, talking about how it's made, and so forth. He is also up for a part in the new Friday the 13th movies as Jason Voorhees. Which I'm sorry, is it Jason? Yeah, it's Jason. Jason Voorhees.
Jason Voorhees. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were wondering, is this a good move for Braun, or is this just, crazy? But Mr. Mills, what did you think about that?
I like it. I'll say this much as it relates to the professional wrestling industry. It's an unforgiving industry, especially when it comes to your body. As sad as it is to see guys like Cena and those guys back away from it, it's still good to see that some of them have just enough of their health to still be able to maintain their regular lives. Like Ace was saying, Stone Cold has a show. A lot of those other guys have cook shows of that nature. It is great to see that these guys can still function physically after going through all that stuff on the road. So I think it's a good thing. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a good career change to be able to do something that you're actually passionate about. And I mean, if you still want to come back to professional wrestling, that's good. But anything to keep the entertainment bug going, I'm down for it.
I don't think that the WWE really knows what to do with Braun. I don't. I just think that, they underutilize him. And I think if this is something that just shows the versatility that he has, I think it's a good thing myself. Big Daddy P, where do you stand on that?
Money. It's all about money. I mean, next thing you know, he'll have his own barbecue sauce. And again, it's just the business we're in. Physically, he's done. And so he's got to do something to pay the bills. And he uses the name, and he can thank Vince McMahon for that, for giving him the opportunity to be able to do all that he can do with all that he has. Listen, I mean, look at Tyreek Hill, man. He's done. He's finished for the season. That's it. All this guaranteed money, all these promises made, it all comes down to one thing: money. That's what I think about it. But again, keep in mind, you're in America. You can do that. I mean, in some countries, You can't even have a wrestling podcast.
Yep.
But yet in America, we can. So thank goodness for that. May we continue to be able to do that. Because with everything going on within the industry itself and everybody having their opinions on what they think is going to happen, year after year after year after year after year, the WWE, AEW, TNA, we have a wonderful opportunity in pro wrestling right now. So if everyone can take the opportunity to make money, to feed their families, all in the name of what we love and hold dear to our heart, then so be it.
Yep, I think so too. And like I said, if it's a chance for, look how many wrestlers go into acting. Look at The Rock and Cena and Austin and all them. And then, to hear that Braun may be coming up for the part in the Friday the 13th movies. And then along with that, get on to you know, the food channel, hey, it's great if you ask me. So, the more power to him. And like you said, it's the money. It's what
He's not going to have a talking part. What's he going to do? Shakespeare? I mean, come on.
Can you imagine Jason doing Shakespeare? To kill or not to kill. You know what I mean? Yeah.
There you go. So I tell you what, at this point, let's go ahead and we are going to let's talk with Mr. Mills for a moment here. Let's let Mr. Mills tell us a little bit about what's going on in the FWWC, and then we'll come back to Big Daddy P and the snippets of truth.
You got it. Absolutely.
So, Mr. Mills, you are up, my friend.
So,
wait a minute. Hold up.
Last night, ladies and gentlemen, we had a series of matches to determine FWWC End of Days is on the way, baby. It's coming. It's right around the corner, just about. And we got to get some things figured out. And one of the two things that we were trying to figure out is who will be going for the brand new custom-made FWWC Warriors Heart.
Uh-oh.
Where did Mr. Mills go?
Hey, blink twice if you can hear us.
Okay.
Well.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'm back. All right.
Oh, there you
had a phone call. Okay, so, Ace, as I said, I love you, brother. I love you. I love you with all my heart and soul.
I lost.
I love you. But damn it, man.
I know. I dropped the ball on that one too, man.
You're three-peating the wrong way, bro. You're three-peating the wrong way. Nothing against you. I love you, man. Thank you for your contributions. There's going to be some more talks going into FWC End of Days, but here's the important part. Congratulations to Gabriel Arsene, and congratulations to Ruler Saint. Both those gentlemen will be vying for the FWWC Warriors Heart Championship going into FWC End of Days. In addition, Badass American Diva, you got yourself your opponent, and we figured out and we got it. It will be you and El Luchador de KC for that lovely FWC International title that we're still waiting on the new one. If we can get the monkeys to send it through the mail, I think Santa Claus got it. Does Santa Claus have it? Are we waiting for Christmas?
I can't control the postal service. Like, I send it and they take forever, and I'm like, geez, this is bad for business. I had the same problem. There was an order about a week or two ago that got sent out, and it literally just got to them like yesterday. I'm sitting scratching my head like, wait a minute, I sent this out like last week sometime. Come to find out, it sat up in Atlanta for like a couple of days before they even sent it to these people. And I'm like, come on now. Like, I'm running a business here, people. Like, yeah. So once I send it, it's out of my hands. I can't control when it gets to you.
Well, we know it's coming. It's all good. So we have those figured out. So Badass American Diva, I know you had some words for El Luchador last night. If he's listening tonight, what is he in store for going into FWC End of Days? Oh, he's here?
He's out there. He is out there. I've seen him in the thing. And I'm going to tell you just what I said to him in my little promo last night. Luchador, hey, dude, you are not dealing with just any other champion. You're dealing with a Badass American Diva. I've had this title now for 1.5 years, going on 2 years, and I am not going to give this title up easily. So if you want it and you want to come get it, bring your A game, your B game, your C game, your D game, and every other game you have. Because as Triple H would say, it's time to play the game. And Badass American Diva is not going to take it easy on you. So if you don't bring it, you won't be walking out with it. And whether you bring it or not, you're not walking out with it, because I'm not giving this up. This is mine. And you just better bring it. That's all I can say. You better step up your game, son, because you ain't playing anymore with all those guys that you've been playing with. You ain't playing with Ace. You ain't playing with all them others. You're going up against the champ. And there's a reason I've been the champ as long as I have.
But you know, though,
Right
if anybody bring it, though, it is going to be Lucha, though. And I got to give him all the props, because if you've watched how he's progressed just within the past, say, 6 months, I mean, this is almost like a completely different Lucha than what we're used to. And let's be honest, man, we love Lucha. He's very dependable. He's on it all the time. He had a streak where his picks were really off, his promos were a little off, his participation was a little off. Here lately, though, he's been on fire. I mean, his promos has been great. The role play has been great. His picks are just outstanding. You know, so if anybody can step it up and bring the A game, you got to watch out for Lucha. He might be the one to be throwing you.
Absolutely, 100%.
Hey.
So, with that being said, because I'm not trying to take up too much time, we have the Warriors Heart Championship match. We got that figured out. We have the Hardcore Championship match figured out. Dark Horse versus Rage. We got that together. We have the International Championship match. We got that figured out. But there's one last thing, and hopefully the graphics and posters are ready for this one. One last thing we got to figure out, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the FWWC Tag Team titles. Now, we already have 2 teams that are qualified. To the other teams, Assassin Syndicate, I believe Ruler Saint and Rage had a team going on. Unfortunately, you won't be able to go for the tag team titles this season. But next season is the time to work. It's the time to get established. It's the time to get going. Because next season, after we're done with this one, those teams, Assassin Syndicate, and I don't remember the name that Ruler Saint and Rage had together, you'll be able to go for those tag team titles. But for now, right now, it's Hoss Mafia and House of Horrors who will be going head-to-head eventually to figure out who's going to be going for the FWWC Tag Team titles. But before we get to that match, before we get to that number 1 contender match, we have a series of 2 matches before that going into October. Hopefully those graphics are ready. If they're not ready, I can explain it on the page later. I'm not sure who's going to put it up. But next week, we have a epic, an amazing, a great.
I have them, but I'm just trying to.
She still there?
I don't think she knows what she's doing at the moment.
No big deal. As she's looking for it,
she's
I
on
get
mute.
into it. So.
Got to get off mute.
Suzy.
Oh, sorry. I was just
there
saying, Ace, watch it. I do know how to take you off the screen.
Aw.
Go ahead, Mr. Mills. I'm looking for those. I'm trying to get those graphics.
No big deal. So, next week, we will have a triple threat tag team match. Brothers in Arms, our current FWC Tag Team Champions, versus Hoss Mafia versus House of Horrors. Obviously, this is a non-title match, but this is a little bit of a warm-up. A little bit of a, and Hardcore says Badass American Diva, let's not put them last 2 up just yet. I want them to kind of be a surprise. I don't want to let the cat out the bag just yet. It's all good. We ain't got to worry about it because those last 2 matches going into October, I want to say October 20th and October 27th, those 2 matches are going to be a very, 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 very damn big deal. But for now, next week, as a warm-up to get these tag teams going, again, non-title, it's going to be Hoss Mafia versus House of Horrors versus the FWWC Tag Team Champions, Brothers in Arms, in a triple threat tag team match. That is next Monday, October 6th. Again, there'll be 2 matches after that, but we're going to kind of We'll talk about them. We'll get to that. Maybe there's a reason why the graphics ain't working correctly because it ain't meant to spill the beans just yet. But next week, Hoss Mafia, you're up. Next week, House of Horrors, you're up. She got off. Next week, Brothers in Arms, you're up. And I believe it's going to be an incredible, amazing match. I believe it's going to be something that the FWC is going to be looking very forward to. Ace, I'm going to get you in there, brother. Let me make some phone calls, dog. I don't want you to miss end of days, dude. I really don't. I don't want you to not be involved. Let me make some phone calls and see what I can do.
Well, I went on like an almost 2-year winning streak. So it was about time to start losing some. And it's like, I just hate that I lost the matches I lost. Like, dang, why couldn't I lose just the match that didn't matter, you know? Like, dang. I went from winning almost every match for 2 years straight to losing like title shots. And I'm like, I ain't never lost a title shot.
Right. So yeah, that's it. Let's just go with that one. Let's not go past. I don't want to get the other two away just yet. But yes, next week, the road to FWWC End of Days begins.
All right, thank you.
Triple threat tag team match. Brothers in Arms, our current champions, versus Haas Mafia versus House of Horrors. And again, Haas Mafia and House of Horrors, they will go at the end of the month, at the end of October, to see who the number one contender for the tag team championships will be. But again, we're going to get to them matches a little bit later, a little further on down the road. For now, let's focus on next week and let's see some great tag team action here in the FWWC. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for end of days. I'm ready to get this year over as we get to the end of the road. Instead, we get to the end of the year and the end of this amazing season. It's going down. Haas Mafia, one representative, Badass American Diva. You might be double booked at this pay-per-view, sis.
Hey, a champ's got to do what a champ's got to do. And if I happen to be double booked because I am in another championship match, then Haas and I are just going to have to walk out double champs. That's all there is to it.
I like that energy. I like that attitude. Like I said, I'm not going to keep you guys this night. This has been a great show. I've been paying attention. I've been watching, even though I have a little bit of crappy internet. It is what it is. Just got moving to the new crib. Things are good. Things are great. Feeling amazing. Appreciate you guys' prayers and support and love. And like you say, business never stops. The FWWC never stops. And we're going to keep this rolling in FWWC End of Days. The road is rolling and we rocking, baby. That's all I got.
Yep. Well, thank you, Mr. Mills. It was a pleasure having you. And thank you for dropping in.
All day. I'm going to stay back in the backstage. You guys have a great show.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And, that was great. As Mr. Mills said, we've got our card set or almost practically set for the next show, the next pay-per-view. So we're looking forward to that. But at this time, we want to turn the floor over to Big Daddy P, and we want to get a little snippets of truth. And Big Daddy P, before you do what you do, I just want to give you a quick little thing here. My mom has a hairdresser that was telling her that his son was born, and he was born roughly 3 months early. And he was born with organs outside of the body. And the poor child has been going through so much. He's had a couple of surgeries to get himself back, to get him where he needed to be. And I just would like to ask you if you would just say a little prayer. His name is Connor. And, we just want to say that, we know that God loves the little children and he is always, looking out for the children. So we just want to ask you if you would say just a little something in your prayers for Connor.
Absolutely. How old is Connor now?
He is 3 months old at this point.
Okay.
And then on the to add to the list there, my mother-in-law, she's in a nursing home. She has her dementia's progressed a lot. She had both her legs amputated last week because blood clots. She had a lot of problems with it. And at this particular time, she is in hospice care. So they're honestly expecting really any time that she's going to, pass on. My old lady is not taking it real good. The grandkids aren't taking it well. It's just one of those where you don't want her to suffer, but they're not really, nobody's ever really ready to let go. And that's kind of where they're at now. And I know it was a hard decision for my old lady to sign the paperwork to hand her over to hospice care. So right now it's just kind of a matter of whenever he calls her home. So continue to pray for her and the family and all that.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't sound something that's easy. There are a lot of people suffering in many ways, under many circumstances. And I'm just thankful again that we have an opportunity to call upon someone that we know who has all the facts, who's not surprised about any of this. And I think that's what our faith is all about. The snippet of truth tonight is all centered around encouragement, because we've got a lot of people who are hurting right now in a lot of different ways. Okay. And there's a lot of people that's afraid. They're scared because they don't know what's going to happen. So one of my favorite parts about this show isn't just the fact that we can take a moment to divert from the topic of wrestling and turn our attention to the creator of wrestling. A lot of people don't realize all the things that the Lord has created. Wrestling is one of them, but we have each other. And because we have each other, there is no accident or coincidences. It's not like God didn't put us together for no reason, to encourage each other. So I am thankful, again, that you take this time to honor him, because he tells us that when we honor him, he honors us. I'm not looking for honor. I just want to help those that are hurting, and if I can spend a few moments, say a few words to encourage someone, man, that's what life's about. Because just like you, I got to put my head on the pillow tonight. And when I do, I want to know that I did the very best I could to try and make a difference in this world. And I want to encourage everyone. Compassion, man. I don't care how different they are from you. Compassion. You got to have compassion. That's the one thing that Jesus had, no matter what anybody was going through, no matter what situation, from the Old Testament all the way to the end of Revelation. It was all about being understandable and having compassion on those who are less fortunate, because not everybody is where we are individually. Some of us have gifts of finances. Some of us have gifts of encouragement. Some of us have gifts of love. There's all kinds of gifts out there. So I just want to encourage you that if you've ever trusted in Christ, that you understand why he has you here. He has you here to help the people that are around you. So I thank you guys that you give us this opportunity to talk about it. You never know, but I know one thing, and that is he said that his word will never end, and that I should encourage you with those words. I can give you my words, but they don't have the power like his words does. So 3 things: do not fear. It's okay to be afraid, not good to live in fear. Let it go. If you can't control it, God's in control. Continue to put your faith and trust in him. And let me pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for your goodness and grace. I know you have all the facts in regards to Connor, as well as Ace's mother-in-law. I know that you've got a perfect plan for each of them. I thank you for their hearts to publicly share these requests. It is so important for us to come together, to unify right now. All the enemy wants to do is divide. And Lord, I know that you allow this to happen. You allow these divisions to take place because you want to know where we stand. Well, I answered the call and I stand with you. And I thank you that I can call upon you and not get a busy signal, not get a voicemail, always knowing that you're ready to answer. So for those that have been concerned or are afraid or worrying, Lord, I pray that you would comfort them, that you would give them your word, that they would see that you are a promise keeper, that there's not a moment that goes by that you don't know what's going to happen. So I thank you so much, and I love you, and I ask these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. And for those of you out there who do not know, Big Daddy P has a show once a week. If you don't get enough snippets of truth, this is the man to look for. Big Daddy, can you tell everybody when they can hear you and when they can see you and when your show is on?
Central Standard Time, Fridays, 2 p.m. You just go to facebook.com/Perry Hartman, PERRYHARTMAN. And I go live for a half an hour. It's a snippet. But the snippet you're going to get is like a month worth of Bible teaching weekly in a 30-minute window, because I want to make sure that time is for the message that needs to be delivered. Right now, we're going through a historical timeline. A lot of people don't know where we've come from, how we got here. They don't even know that Satan fell before we were ever created. So there's a lot we're getting into on things that you just can't get normally. So you can do a YouTube search for Snippets of Truth, and you'll see the happy face in the magnifying glass. It's all about trying to identify those who have a frown and to love them so it turns upside down. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
You're a great inspiration to us, Big Daddy P. You really are. And your show is a great inspiration. And, you know, sometimes if you really need the Lord, go see Big Daddy P. He's going to let you know the Lord's there for you. And send him your prayer requests, and he'll pray for you. I know I have. I've sent Big Daddy P my own personal testimony. I sent it to him one time. And, you know, Big Daddy P is always easy to talk to. And if you need any inspiration, he's always the man to hit up.
But I'm far from perfect. I put my pants on just like everybody else does, right? But I have been able to tap into my style, being able to relate to people. Like, Suzy, you can reach people I can't, okay? I can reach people you can't. Ace, you can reach people that you can't. Everybody does. We don't realize all the gifts that he's given us. So even if you ever get a chance to open your Bible and read the book of Nehemiah, God used people in their locale to make a difference where they're at. You don't have to be a pastor. You don't have to be a teacher to encourage. All you have to do is love. And trust me, there's enough hate out there that if you just sprinkle a little bit of love, that light will go farther than you know. Because whether if you know it or not, a lot of Christians don't know who they are. They don't realize that they're the light in a dark world. How do you do that? By loving one another. If you're salt, what does salt do? It preserves, right? It also adds flavor. Some would say I'm a lot of salt. I add a lot of flavor. Okay, because that's the personality God gave me. But each and every one of us has been given a measure of faith. And it's all about encouraging, loving one another, not judging. Man, if there's one thing we would stop judging. I know what the Bible says about judgment, but there's only one judge, and we're not it. Our job is to love him and love his people. So if you are and anytime anyone says a Bible-believing Christian, let me tell you, Jesus never said follow Christians. He said follow me. I'm in love with the man. I love the Lord. I love everything that he did and what he did it and why he stands for. You know, he was all about loving people who were less fortunate, yet he had no place to rest his head. This is God in the flesh, man. And now we have the ability. Back in Old Testament times, he came in the pillar of a cloud. He came in fire. He came within the ark. Now we have them inside of us. So as representatives of heaven, we also are the fifth gospel. They might not ever open the Bible. They might not read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, but they read us every day. Question is, what do they read? If it's put in the form of urine aroma, how do you smell as a Christian? Okay, you're getting me all fired up, Suzy. You got me started. I'm going to chill because I know I'm just, again, thankful that you guys open up your hearts to these truths, because you know, before I ever say a word, all I got to do is say, Lord, what do you need them to hear? What's the most important message right now? Because everybody's on their own path, right? Everybody's dealing with their own issues. So how can you solve all these issues? We can't. All I can do is plant a seed. I am a seed sower, not a soil tester. I'm not here to test your soul. I'm here to tell you about what he did, why he did it, and what you can do to be happy. Happiness and peace and joy is a fruit. It's not a given. It's something that you receive, and love and encouragement. These are things that are not givens in this world. So be encouraged. Have an awesome evening. Thank you again for the time. And listen, these prayers don't stop here, okay? Make sure next week we have a follow-up to find out how everything's going, because ultimately, in the end, we don't like to lose anyone, but I'm a lot happier when someone's not suffering. If I know they're suffering, I say, Lord, heal them, bring them home, because not only do they suffer, but those who are watching are suffering, and they're not going home. So they've got to be left with all the visuals, all the mental issues that come along with it, the stress, the finances. I mean, I just put together my will for the first time. And it's amazing how freeing that is, because now everybody knows what I want and they know what my expectations are. And of course, you're going to have little bits of fighting and all the junk, but Ace, be unified, brother. You might be the strength, the glue that holds this family together. You never know. And it's through his strength that you're going to be able to do it. So when things are most difficult and no one knows what to do, just call upon him, man. Sit back and watch his salvation, because he knows how to love better and he knows how to make things happen that we simply cannot. And that's why he is God and we are not.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much, Barry. It is.
Have an awesome show. Hey, where'd Renee go?
He's in here somewhere. He said, let's go now. He's ready.
Love you, brother. Thank you for all that you continue to do. By the way, Mrs. Jamie got a new job. Praise God. So we're going to have a little bit of breathing room, we hope. It's been a rough 2 years because she ran a window business for 16 years, and then a window malfunctioned and fell 12 feet, broke her pelvic bones, and just it was so we lost a lot of money for the last 2 years, and we have been waiting on the Lord to answer, and he has answered. So we thank God for that. And she's doing 1,000% better. And if I don't do my homework, my home won't work. So I'm going to go do my homework. Love you guys, and I'll see you next week.
Yes,
Please
sir.
give her a hug for us. Tell her we love her.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. And oh, hey, by the way, and hey, also, Ace, I want to tell you, I'm seriously wanting to get a belt made. And I know I mentioned this last time. I'm serious. I just got to have the money to do it. But I want to get a belt made as the official chaplain for the Wrestle Talk podcast. And now I know something. I see Renee. Now, if anybody can make something happen, Renee, what do you think, brother? I'll pay for it. I don't care. I want these belts, man.
¿Qué pasa? I gotta do that, bro. Your wish is my command, brother. I'm here to serve you. We'll make something happen. We'll grab a little online coffee and we'll make something work, man. I'm sure Ace will cook something up for you, and I'm sure it'll be Ace Preem, baby, straight out of Georgia. You heard me?
Because if there's one thing that I told my kids that I'm most thankful of, it's for Wrestle Talk.
Yeah,
because you've given me an outlet to be me, man. Most people wouldn't put me on their podcast. They can't handle the truth.
Only one crazy enough. That's right, baby.
Plus, you also like a good drink and some good cigars, so we have that in common.
Amen.
That's why the Lord hasn't put us together. You know that, right?
Man, someday soon I'm gonna make my way down to Tennessee. I promise you that.
Either way, when it happens, I'll just make sure we have a good place to take a nap, because I don't think it's going to be a short night.
I think we're going to need it. That's a matter of fact. Love you, Perry. Good to see you, man.
Love you, guys. Have a great night.
Love you.
See ya. Love you.
Always a pleasure to have Big Daddy P on. He is, as I said, and I'm not joking, he's an inspiration.
Our resident chaplain, ladies and gentlemen. Our resident chaplain. I love him too.
And
What's
Renee,
up, champ? What's going on,
It's so
champ?
good to see you. Hey, man, I'm there, you know. I don't know if you heard any of the trash talking a little bit ago, and, you know, DeJuan brought up.
I heard so much I took notes. I went over some of this stuff with y'all, man.
Thank you
you guys
man.
for having me on, man. Thank
you know, the Haas Mafia, we're gonna we may possibly get double booked soon, and you know, me and Haas gonna have to walk out double champs. So
well, listen, I definitely want to talk about the card with you guys briefly, but there's a couple of things that we need to get out of the way. Number one, my tolerance for Ace's mouth this evening is going to be fairly low, because he's got no room to talk, because my Chicago Bears put an unmitigated butt whipping on the Dallas Cowboys just a couple of days ago. So I don't need to hear or see or smell anything from this guy that even feels like disrespect, because yeah, it's going to be all bad. I'm just telling y'all now. I don't want to hear nothing from you, Ace.
As a Washington fan, I'm going to say I'm on Renee's side of that one.
You're welcome.
I'm on Renee's side of that one.
What bothers me the most, and this past game is prime example, Prescott has had 10 years to step up and play like he played against Green Bay. And even though they ended that with a tie, that was a great game. He stepped up and played like the quarterback he should have been for the past 10 years. And I'm like, as a diehard Dallas fan, I've been wanting them to get rid of Prescott. And I'm like, why? Why wait 10 years to play like this when you've had all these opportunities to do this and you embarrass us, man? But anyway, I'll get off of that. It's a whole nother subject. I can go. I live in Georgia, and I'm a Falcons fan too, so I can go ahead and tell you flat out the Falcons break my heart. Georgia lost to Alabama again. Oh my God,
that's extra rough. That's right. Hey, at least you're not losing to some crappy team like Florida State just lost to Virginia or whoever the hell, Vanderbilt or somebody we just lost to. That was real rough. Yeah, it feels like a football podcast almost. Feels like a football podcast.
Hey, we are nothing if we're not diverse here on the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
That's a matter of fact. Look at me. I have to watch my back, make sure it's not ice ain't knocking on my door. But as long as they don't knock, I'm here for y'all. Y'all might got me for about 15 minutes. Well, let me ask you a question because, I haven't done this in a while. And again, thank you all for allowing me on the airways here with this special guest host edition. Joe and I hosted a couple of weeks ago. We hadn't done that for almost 50 episodes. Now we've got some new fresh blood. Suzy, you've always been around doing stuff, prepping for shows, doing posters, being, leading the charge in the chat room, talking to everybody about WTP. But now I think you've kind of graduated into this role that I think you're now ready for. And, I feel like Ace, you talk about Dak Prescott. I was going to kind of pose a question to you there. Do you feel like the Ace that walked into the FWWC, 5 years ago, however long it was, 4 years or 5, somewhere in there? Yeah, I figured that was close. Do you think that version of Ace is anywhere close to being as good as this version of Ace?
Oh, not even close. Not as close.
Okay, so then I would compare that to Dak Prescott. Listen, I'm no Cowboys fan, nor am I a hater, bro. Why do Lions have to worry about the opinions of sheep? Everybody knows I'm also a Chiefs fan on the AFC side. So my point is, I think he's coming along the way that God intended for him to come along. And who knows, bro? By next year, the Cowboys could be in Super Bowl conversation. I'm not putting that out there, and I wouldn't put any money on it. But when you got a quarterback that's developing the way he is and the way that Jerry's been loyal to him, man, anything can happen. I'd rather be the Cowboys than the team that's switching quarterbacks every single year. Sure. You know what I'm saying? Like the Raiders, for example. Geez Louise, nobody wants to be them. You know what I mean? So anyway, but enough about football, guys. I'm here. I've got a big announcement to make, but there's a few things that I need to address. So number one, sis, that hat is absolute fire. Fire. You truly do look like a badass American diva. And of course, and it wouldn't be Ace if he wasn't trying to one-up somebody. You know what? I'm winning tonight, though, because my hat is timeless. That's timeless, ladies and gentlemen. I don't care what nobody says.
Hey, earlier, Ace had on his cowboy hat.
Oh, I'll pull it off. Oh, yeah.
Hey, listen, whatever you want to do.
There we go, baby.
Oh, my gosh. Now, you guys look more official than a referee with a golden whistle.
Oh,
all right. So now that you got the hat on, Ace, this is perfect. You leave that thing on for this part of it.
I got you.
So I want to tell you something, okay? This whole make the FWWC great again movement. I had to speak on this before we get to the announcement. Listen, I'm very, very impressed. But I'm starting to realize something. Between you and Ruler Saint, there's a lot of people in this group that think that they're in charge of shit that they're not really in charge of. But it's fine. I respect the movement. I respect it. I really do. What I want to know is, when wasn't the FWWC great? It's always been great. So that's my next question to you before I got one, because I got one for Sis too. When has the FWWC been great? Or are you like the visionary that it's not great until you're at the very top? Because I'm getting that same vibe from you as I get from Seth Rollins. Do tell.
So the whole idea of, let's be honest now, there was a small time frame here where we've had some champions that were not up to par. We're not going into that. We already know. There was champions that were not up to par. We had people that did not take it serious. We had people that, in a way, was trying to sabotage and ruin what y'all have built. And I say what we've built, because since I've been here, I've tried to put a lot into trying to make this, a little different, more like a home. And I believe that, from the idea and what come up with the whole let's make it great again, for one, we had championships that were vacant. So, I mean, come on, what better way to make it great than put it on, the greatest. But my thing
you see this humility coming through the screen, folks. That's why you guys tune into the Wrestle Talk podcast.
There you go. So the idea to make it great again is to let's bring it back to something that was taken a lot more serious, make it more fun. You know, and there was a while there, let's be honest, it really wasn't fun when it was too, I say in a way more business-like, because it was almost like babysitting, you know, and I'm not bashing nobody. We all know, we're not getting into that. When it become more of a chore to have to do this, when it become a chore to have to get the champions in line and tell them, hey, you're a champion, represent the company. We had champions we never heard from. We had champions that were out there doing stuff and half-heartedly doing promos, half-heartedly doing the matches and the role play. And that's what I mean about let's make it great again. Let's get these belts on people.
I actually like that.
Serious. And
I do.
Let's put the belts on people that's going to take it serious. And it's even, you know, I could talk all the trash, you know, about losing and all this stuff or whatever. I don't mind losing. Like I said, I went, you know, a whole 2 years.
It's a pillar. It's a pillar to a better story. I agree completely.
And it builds character. When you have to restart and say, hey, you know what? I took a few hits back. Let's kind of redevelop this and build your way back to the top. And we all know that you're at your strongest when you're at the bottom. And I say that because now you realize what kind of weight you can hold and how much weight you got to bring with you back to the top to get where you're at. Because bringing that weight builds strength, builds character. And then bam, once you're back at the top, man, you're unstoppable. So I don't mind taking a loss. And honestly, I could not think of anybody better than Gabriel and Savior Saint to go on. And one of them two is going to make a great Warriors Heart champion. We already know that Gabe's taken that title before, and he was great as a champ. And if Saint wins,
personally, I think that's the last time that the belt mattered, when he had it. That's my honest opinion. The last time he had it was the last time that belt mattered.
Exactly. And you know, like look at what John done with the hardcore title. I mean, he took that belt and made it something.
Longest run of all time. That's the longest run of all time.
People were lined up trying to take that belt. Look what, and I have to toot my own horn just a little on this one. Just a short time that I had the Spartans Heart Championship. I mean, look at some of the programs that we had. You know, we've slacked in programs. I'd say since Universe Mania, the programs got a little slack for a couple of months. We got rid of the problem. Now that was my whole campaign. Let's make it great again. Let's get back to making this great again. You know, make it.
I'm going to stop you right there. We're all on board to that point. But then you being at the top part of it, that's the part. That's like when you're a little kid and they give you a fat steak and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so ready. And then they throw the asparagus on there and you're like, come on, man. Y'all know how to. That's what but listen, I understand that you're a competitor. Oh, yeah. I've never competed in the FWWC, you know, always being an executive, but I've watched it from the very beginning. I can tell you, I can see that competitive nature. I can see the leadership, and I understand the ego, because when you're a competitor, bro, you really are challenging to be at the very top, not only because you want to have the goal, but also it gives you the maximum amount of influence, which is how you can make the most change in the group when you have a maximum amount of influence. And I got a question for Sis, but I did want to say, just remember, as great as you want to make the group, number one, it's always been great. You want to make it greater, I'm good with that. But at the end of the day, it's not about Ace. It's about we, the people. It's about the FWWC universe, the fans wanting to tune in to hear from you guys. And ultimately, I think we're at a point now where I'm ready to make my announcement, then I'll throw a question over to Suzy. Here it is, guys. Here in the very, very near future, we will post the date here shortly, potentially even as soon as the end of the show. We are officially bringing back a new version, a 2.0 version of the classic and highly demanded FWWC Tonight. And guess what? I'm even going to break the news to you guys about who's going to be hosting the show, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, your new hosts for the FWWC Tonight 2.0 are none other than the Badass America Diva, your international champion, and who knows, soon to be the ace that runs the place, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the wild card. You see him, ladies and gentlemen. Ace and Badass American Diva are bringing back one of the greatest forms of communication that the FWWC has ever seen. We do the role play, we do the promos, we do the matches. Now we're going to add another layer on top. the FWWC Tonight 2.0 on its way back very, very soon. Congratulations to you two guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. You know, I was telling Ace earlier, I used to host the show with another member of the group back in the day, and it was always a pleasure to be a part of it. You know, FWWC Tonight is kind of an exclusive FWWC thing, but even so, if you're a fan of the page, if you're a fan of the FWWC, and let me tell you, John and I go to independent shows here all the time, and you would not believe the people that come up to me at those shows and say, "Oh my God, I saw your promo. It was so awesome." And
I love that.
You know, that Ace guy, oh my gosh, what is he doing? You know,
what
and
a jerk. What a jerk.
Yeah, really. You know, how cocky.
That's huge shit, baby.
But we've even sent people from these shows to Ace, you know, for belts of their own that they wanted. And, you know, it's incredible to me how much the FWWC is, even in this area, you know, people who aren't superstars, but they're fans of the page, and how happy they are to see it and how great they think the FWWC is. So,
well, you know what? That's beautiful, sis. And that, you know, we've been working together for so long. It's almost like we kind of on the same kinetic path. I was going to ask you, how is the previous version? And I don't want you to give away too much, because I just want to let everybody know this is going to be different from what y'all have seen before. But what can you share, sis, with us that is going to be different from, let's just say, FWWC Tonight 1.0 to now FWWC Tonight 2.0, hosted by Badass American Diva and the Ace that runs the place? I got to hear from you on this.
Well, you know, from what we've been discussing, you know, Ace was saying earlier that he would like to bring kind of his own little snippets of truth to the show. And if you want prayer for something, by all means, please let us know. Unlike previous versions, we are going to not be live. We are going to be taping the shows. So you're going to get to see a version that is pre-recorded, but who knows? There may be times when we may go live. Just
who knows?
For it, you know, it could come down to where we may have something really special happen, and we might just go live that week.
And I do want to speak on the format a little bit. So, like, think Bill Maher with an occasional pop in from somebody, or think even better, Howard Stern. You know, like how Robin was kind of there, but not always there. So this is meant to be more of like the one-man show thing. And then, you know, Suzy, you're going to be the backbone of this whole thing, and I'm sure you'll make appearances there. But I wanted to introduce you guys both. Maybe I misspoke by saying both new hosts. What I'm saying is Suzy's going to be a major part of the production and of everything that goes into it. And then Ace is going to play the role of John Oliver, or, you know, Bill Maher, Jon Stewart, you name it, any of the examples that I've already presented. So the format of the show is going to be something like that, but I won't say anything else, just so everybody goes, well, it's two hosts again, just like every other time. Not exactly. Not exactly. Sis will be there. Her presence will be felt every single show, but it won't be like just a two-man show like what we're used to doing all the time. So be ready. The production value is going to be crazy. The graphics are going to be insane. It's going to be hilarious. It's also going to be uplifting. It's going to be informative. And whether you're a part of the FWWC or you're thinking about joining the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion, you're not going to want to miss it. So again, we'll make a big announcement all over Wrestle Talk, my personal page, everybody's personal page, the FWWC page, so you guys will have all that information. So listen, before I get at it, go ahead. I
kind of like to think of it as somewhat just like with Wrestle Talk. I'm kind of the woman behind the man.
There you go. The only thing I got to say about the show, and this will just give you an idea of the format, it's not a podcast. It is an actual show. And that's all I want to say about it. So you got to tune in, say like Daniel Tosh.0, something like that. You said Tonight Show. So it's not an actual podcast. It is a show. So
I love that. The entertainment value is going to be out of control.
We were also talking earlier, you know, Ace has his version that he was calling Ace in the Hole, where, you know, we did our
that
little,
could be like a great little segment in the show. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we were talking earlier about how Wrestle Talk used to do that in a way with, you know, like the time Joey spoke about air in the bag of chips. And
Oh yeah, the shoot and shout segment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, and you guys
Right.
have my blessing. You guys have my blessing to bring back the milk carton moment of the week. That is the person that should be present and showing up, and they're not promoting, they're not doing their job. I get worried about guys that are really talented and they don't show up. So you guys have my blessing. If you guys want to throw the milk carton moment back into the mist, I know something that people really enjoyed before and that they missed. So you guys have my blessing to bring that back, even if it's, every once in a while. I think there's going to be a few people occasionally eligible to be thrown on the back of the milk carton. So, yeah, y'all have my blessing on that.
I already know one that Ace wants to throw in there.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Oh, no.
Don't spoil it. So just a couple quick things I'll rattle off here. Best of luck to Rage against Hardcore Hoss. Obviously, we talked about Ruler Saint, the ruler of the ring. People keep saying king and all this. Just to make it clear officially, it is ruler of the ring. Have y'all seen this new crown? Have y'all seen it? Come on, nobody's even been talking about it. I'm like, have y'all not seen this thing? It is beautiful. Jade diamonds, 100% custom made. It is a wonderful piece. Anybody would be lucky to have it. And depending on what happens with the Warrior Shirt Championship, Ace may need to defend that crown here before too long. So not Ace, I'm sorry. Saint may need to defend that crown before too long. So just make sure you guys keep an eye on that. Badass American Diva, huge luck to you competing against one of the longtime members of the FWWC. People always talking crap on Luchador, and then all of a sudden he surprises and beats somebody for the Warriors Heart Championship. Let's not forget, and I hate to bring the guy's name up, but years ago, about 2 years ago now, him, Oni, jumped Mata. They ended up taking the belt from him. So don't underestimate Lucha. That's my advice to you. And then last but not least, I also wish you guys luck. I know you guys in Hearts of Horrors continuing that story that's been going on for so long. Trying to line yourselves up for the opportunity against the Brothers in Arms, which, by the way, those two guys, if anybody's been on a hot streak these last couple of months, man, shout out to Brothers in Arms. Those two boys are killing it, not only in the FWWC, but in the real wrestling game. Killing it. So huge congrats to those guys. Awesome stuff. Last thing before I go. I know we said earlier we're not going to talk about it. Hey, we'll leave that out. I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes before I jump out of here. I'm willing to answer questions about anything, anyone. This is one time only. I'm not going to do a whole podcast or have a long thing about it with anybody else. If y'all have any questions for me relating to any volatile situations, OOC or otherwise, I'm happy to answer those questions. I'm only going to do it one time. This is it. So if anybody wants to know, well, Renee, you never told us what happened with this or that or whatever, I want to give you guys the floor, one question each. What do y'all want to know that I can answer for you? Maybe something you've always wondered about the group. Maybe it's not even drama related. Maybe it's just something that you're like, hey, you know what? I've always wondered. I'll give you guys the opportunity because, again, we're trusting you guys with the FWWC tonight. That means that you're very valuable and important to us, to Dewan, myself, and everybody else in the group. So I figure, hey, if we're going to put this much responsibility on y'all, I might as well be as transparent as possible. And if I'm going to be transparent with you, of course I'm going to be transparent with the audience because they're the ones at the end of the day that are paying the bills. So I don't know if it's ladies first or however y'all want to do it. I will take a question from either of y'all. Nothing's off the table. Go ahead.
I just have one question, and that is, a couple years ago.
And you can name names. By the way. I am not afraid.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
A couple years ago, John and I were in Kansas City for, I believe it was SummerSlam at the time. And we had a lot of stuff. Well, at that time, we found out that our illustrious leader here was about to be a grandfather. I understand that you've become a grandfather again since then. So how many grandkids do you have now? How old are they? And are they the apple of your eye like I'm sure they are?
Well, that's a great question. It's such a good question. I'll give you a backup one if you want to make it FWWC related. So, funny story, when I became a grandfather, I actually became a grandfather times two because my eldest daughter, we'll call her Gigi, she married a young man named Junior, and he already had a son. So he was, I think, 3 years old at the time, 3 years old at the time. So when him and my daughter got together, I actually got two grandkids for the price of one. And everybody knows how much a Mexican loves a deal. So I got two grandkids for the price of one. And here more recently, it wasn't necessarily a grandkid, but I did get a new puppy. He is a boxer. And he might be even part Rhodesian back ridge or ridgeback, Rhodesian ridgeback. If you guys have ever heard of those, we think he may be part Rhodesian ridgeback and part boxer. So I don't know. I feel like he's my grandson. So I got a new puppy and 2 grandkids, and I couldn't be more grateful. So hopefully that answers your question. They are the apples of my eye for sure.
I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure.
You want to let Ace go in case you have one more, or you want to go ahead and take your
Sure. No, go ahead, Ace.
All right, so you know me, I'm going to jump right on into it. So when it comes to FWWC, and it goes right back to the whole campaign of make FWWC great again, and I even touched on some of the.
You had to slide that in one more time, didn't you? I knew you were going to do it.
I
knew you were going to slide that. Yeah, go ahead. I respect it. Go ahead.
No, okay. So when it went back to that and the issues that I just beat around the bush about, that what actually started that, let's just go ahead and throw it out there and address the elephant in the room with this one. And you don't have to go in detail about exactly what caused the.
I will.
Okay, there you go. So we had some that were, because we have standards here in FWWC, and I'll go ahead and leave it at that. We have standards. And when people do not uphold the standards, when people do not do their part and represent not only themselves, but our brand, the way they should, then obviously we have to part ways. So to go ahead and throw it out there, we have guys like Remy, Marcus, Grim, those guys there. And for the people who are watching that didn't know what happened, all of a sudden we had a Warriors Heart champion. We had a Spartans Heart champion, which, by the way, we might have one soon. We had the Spartans Heart champion. We had all these people that were named guys that really made a name for themselves in the company that had been here for a long time. Great competitors, great stars in the business, did not respect the business, obviously, from backstage. Can you touch on that a little bit? And when doing so, give not only the audience, but people that may be interested in the FWWC that might have been turned away by backstage rumors, because we know when people spread out, people talk, they flap or whatever. Can you clear the air for anybody that wants to join the group and anybody that may want to come back later? Clear the air on the standards, on exactly what happened, what we expect in the group, and how we can avoid stuff like this from happening in the future. Because, as a business, we got to look at it from, like I said, a business standpoint. Then you got to look at it from just a fun standpoint. When it's not fun and it becomes a chore and it becomes like a babysitting job, it makes it hard on everybody in the group. And when the machine's not running fully oiled and fully operational, everything shuts down. So touch on that, if you will.
Gotcha.
Say some of the stuff backstage, and then give us an idea of not only the standards, but what to expect in the future to avoid stuff like this happening again.
I love it. What a great question. I'm glad I get a chance to address this. And I'm sure Dewan will appreciate this. Somebody tell Dewan he needs to go back and start listening he needs to watch the whole show, but 1 hour and 40 minutes, 1 hour and 42 minutes. Right there, that's the timestamp for y'all. Because I know this is what's going to get clipped out. All right, so let me start by giving you an analogy. You ever been in a nice part of town? Like, you ever been over to Buckhead or, whatever the nice part of town is in West Virginia, wherever you live? You ever been in a nice part of town? They got some nice shops or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Over a certain amount of time, eventually, usually on Friday and Saturday nights, these nice areas of town that you normally would take your wife, your girlfriend, you go out with some girlfriends or whatever, go have a drink, have a good time, they get infiltrated by teenagers, troublemaking, graffiti, playing loud music. They throw their trash on the ground. They talk about, whatever, right? They're creating a disruption. They're taking away the peace and tranquility from that area that the investors and the patrons and everybody really looks forward to. And a lot of times, instead of, like, say you're going into this part of town, and instead of walking on that side of the sidewalk, you might go on the other side of the street to try to avoid them, because you don't want to get caught up in the whirlwind, right, of these teenagers just causing ruckus, skateboarding, whatever they might be doing to disrupt the normal flow of things in the area, right? So are they breaking the law per se? In a lot of cases, no. But are they creating a disruption and taking away the experience that would otherwise be for the majority? Yes, they are. Okay. You got troublesome people who lost their way and forgot exactly why it is that they're here. Okay. I said it to somebody not too long ago. I said, my man, what that was, it was a good old boys club. Okay. And the good old boys club in the locker room leads to things like the clique. Where, yeah, the clique is all famous and they're all Hall of Famers or what have you, but they created a lot of lack of harmony, right? They disrupted the normal flow of the business and made things more difficult for not only the fans to make it more enjoyable, because they ended up having to break up. Somebody ended up going over to WCW or whatever. They weren't able to stay together. So that's what I compare that whole lot to a bunch of guys who forgot why they were here. They were far more interested in what I call popping the boys or popping the boys in the back than popping the audience. It became more about getting gags and laughs and roasting people, you know, one-on-one behind the scenes, you know, in whatever, whether it be a private chat, phone call when they met up in person, instead of remembering why we're here, which is to create great content for the audience. They lost sight of that. When we brought in the new rules, we said, not only are we going to be doing check boxes, right? We're just going to see a people's spirit and their energy and what kind of enthusiasm or lack thereof they bring to the group. And there was a small group of guys. It just so happened that they were champions, that we got to that 3-month mark into the new rule set. If you notice, you go back and check the clock, it was roughly 3 months after we started it. We gave everybody a 90-day like you would get at your job, right? Everybody was on probation, let's just say. And even you two guys, okay? And you guys didn't know this, but even you two guys were in that 90-day probation. And guess what? You passed with flying stars. Now you're getting amazing opportunities because of how much you guys have given of yourselves and to the group. The guys that were asked to leave, Remy Riggs, Daniel Grimm, they failed. They failed miserably. And from my understanding is that they believe that one of their own betrayed them, and that's why it happened. Think about that. They were so insecure about whatever they might have been saying or doing or whatever, that it came to the point where they started to believe that it was one of their own people that betrayed them. Imagine, what the hell were they talking about that somebody would be able to betray them? What were they saying about you and me and everybody else that they were so upset about somebody letting out of the bag, which, by the way, did not happen. But that's their conscience speaking, okay? And for me, bro, I can't control it. All I'm saying is, who here still has the best interest of the group? Not what have you done over the last 5 years, but who now has the right attitude and energy that's going to help propel this company forward. The two guys that were asked to leave, Remy Riggs and Daniel Grimm, they did not have that. And it just so happened, unfortunately, that they had championships and neither one returned the championship to its proper owner. So those two guys, you know, in the words of the guy we mentioned earlier, it's rat behavior. It's rata behavior. When you steal from somebody that was a friend and a colleague and an ally or an acquaintance even, you're a rat. That's what you are. And to set the record even more straight, only two guys were asked to leave. Funky Flex and Marcus Mayhem left on their own. And Marcus Mayhem had the audacity to message me 2 weeks ago and said, hey, am I back from being blocked? And in the back of my mind, I'm like, you fucking idiot. Nobody blocked you, dumbass. You left to go with your little butt buddies and make everything, you know, like, oh, NFG, we're like this huge gang. But here you are less than 3 months later asking to come back when you're the one that left. He left. He left the group. He said, I'm no longer going to be active. He said, I'm not going to participate anymore. All I did was just see him out the door. And all of a sudden he said, well, when am I going to not be blocked anymore? I'm like, brother, you asked to leave. I didn't kick you out. But you wanted to stand with your boys? I guess that only lasted a couple of months. He was itching to get back. So at this point, Marcus ain't coming back. And really none of them cats are unless something really, really significant changes. And to answer, because I remember your full question, how do you stop doing that? It's no different than what a wrestling locker room would be. You guys heard Ace talk about it before. It's a man that's been successful in the actual pro wrestling business before. Guys, it's just like anything else. Don't be an asshole. Don't be the mean girls. Don't be the good old boys. You know, we know that there are people in the group that are not as talented as you. But guess what? And maybe it's because of where I come from. 10 out of 10 times, I will take the average worker that works hard. I will take the average worker that works hard. I'm sorry, the average worker capacity-wise. Average talent, hard work over high talent, low work ethic. 10 out of 10 times, I'll take the guy that works hard. Because you know what? The guy that works hard, he'll figure out how to become proficient eventually. The guy that doesn't try hard, he's never going to get beyond the skill point. Plus, you can't ever count on him. You can't ever count on him. See, people think it's like, oh, is it because Remy didn't wear the belt? He would rather wear the NFG belt. That had nothing to do with it. Was it because Funky Flex left the group and turned heel and babyface more than the Big Show? Nothing to do with it. Was it because Marcus Mayhem started NFG and started kind of this revolt against the group, but all of them were too cowardice to say it to my face? And so they had to go do that somewhere in a corner like rats? Had nothing to do with it. What it was is they were making it more difficult for new, intermediate, and veteran people to enjoy the group. And that's where to draw the line. See, people want to read into the shit like it's some big conspiracy. I'm like, bro, the evidence is there. Y'all all know how these cats were acting, not only on the screen, but also behind the stage, bro. I don't even have to say nothing. You ask anybody. Them guys did not make this place more enjoyable. They made it less enjoyable. And that's where they hit a wall. Wasn't about me, wasn't about DeJuan, wasn't about egos. It's about them stealing and showing their true colors at the end, which made me feel even more justified because I already knew at the end of the day, no matter how much they pretended, they were dirty, stinking ratas. That's it. What do rats do in the light, bro? They hide in the corner, right? That's what they do. That's what they did. And that's where we are.
So going forward, what is the message for anybody that's wanting to come into the group? Because for me,
be a professional.
Yeah.
Be a professional, Will. I'll cut you off because I got to go here. Be professional. It's called professional wrestling. You see how the professional comes before the wrestling? Pause. Professional starts and ends with professionalism. Everything else we can teach you. We can get you the big badass belts. We can get you connected to the best fantasy wrestling community in the world. Be a professional. Be courteous. Understand that it ain't about you. This is not about any Superman bullshit in the role play. This is about being easy to work with and caring about this place. Be easy to work with and care about this place. That's it, bro. There's not 5 steps to it. That's it. It's just those 2. That's it. That's the answer. Suzy, you got anything else for me?
Not really. I mean, I got to tell you, I've been a member of this group for going on 7 years now, 6 or 7. And, I've made friends in this group. I've lost friends in this group. I've come to be, kind of iffy with some friends because, hey, at times you let the group get in the personal way. And sometimes the personal way, unfortunately, gets into the group. And the hardest part of this whole thing is to keep the personal stuff out of the group and not make it hard for the rest of the group. And that's a lot of times the hard part,
I agree completely.
I've had problems with friends and then turned around a year or so later. And, for instance, take Jason Curtis and I, at one point, Jason Curtis and I, we were good friends. Then all of a sudden we had a blow up here in the group, and him, his wife and I, we quit talking for a while, and now we're closer than ever. And we're right back to where we were before. And I've got to say, I love those 2 people. I love their kids. I love their family.
Nothing's better than when you can reconcile with friends.
And that to me is the best part of this group. We're not just a bunch of friends. We all live in different states. We all talk on here, but we're a family. And a lot of times, the family gets a little dysfunctional, and sometimes the dysfunctional ones have to be, let go, kicked out, whatever.
Did we become less talented when those 4 guys left? Yes.
No.
I would say yes. They were all very talented. We became less talented when they left. Now, that's not to say that we don't have talent. I would never take away from how talented those guys were. But it goes back to what I said. I don't care how talented you are. If you don't have the passion and work ethic to be here and really care about this place, and again, you're more concerned about popping the boys in the back, then we don't need you, bro. Because guess what? You got to prune the plant sometimes, right? Sometimes you got to prune some of the biggest branches to make room for some of the more healthy young ones to come up. And that's exactly what happened, ladies and gentlemen. It's nothing personal. Well, maybe it was a little personal because I consider some of these guys, not all of them certainly, but at least a couple of them, my friends. It's unfortunately, I'm the guy holding the scissors, has to do the pruning, and that occasionally makes me the bad guy. But if the group is more enjoyable for you guys and everybody else, then I feel like I did a good thing and I don't regret it. I really don't.
And I think, you said, does it make the group more talented without them? In a way, I think it kind of does, because some of the people who are talented, they get to a point where they just kind of get to a point where they don't want to do anything.
So you're saying less punching down allows others to be more creative. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Exactly.
Sure.
And I mean, that's what I think. I mean, I can see your point, but I can also say that I think some people perform better when they don't feel like everything they're going to do is going to get criticized and knocked down, and
So I'll add one last thing to that of context. I would say that in the immediate, it made us less talented, right? That within that short time right after, yes, when you lose 4 potential all-stars, which all those guys either were or could have been if they got out of their own way, yes, in the short term, but in the long term, like I said, that's why I don't regret it. And I agree with you in the long term, Suzy. It opened it up for guys that maybe were in their shell because they were afraid of being chastised, not even on the page, but like in private, they were afraid of being chastised and bullied by these guys. So in the end, I guess I do agree with you. I do, in the long run, that is. Yeah. So, guys, I got to get going, though. I got family here. I just want to remind everybody that the FWWC Tonight 2.0 is right around the corner. It'll be hosted by Ace. It'll be produced by Suzy. It'll be a ton of fun, a bunch of fun segments. It'll be a very engaging and comedic, and the comment section is going to go absolutely insane. I'm looking forward to it. And I just want to thank everybody for their contributions. This season is gone beautifully thus far. And we've got so much further to go. And I guess I also have to give a back shout out to all the competitors as well. And you, Ace, for, your generosity, all the beautiful championships. A big shout out to Doomed Outfitters and everything you got going on there. I think we sold another belt tonight, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Chalk that one down. I think Big Daddy P's in there. We already to talk about that. I think we sold another one tonight, man. Anytime we link up, good things happen. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here, guys. I'm going to get back to my family from Florida. And just remember, bro, from now until forever, the Bears are going to be better than the Cowboys, so you don't have to deal with
One more quick thing, Renee.
Yeah, what's up?
One more quick thing. How's the new house?
It's wonderful. I'm actually sitting here right now. I got my cigar lounge music going in the background. Listen, I went and got a new pup. We have twice as much square footage. I got enough space back there to build a whole nother house. Man, Jehovah God is incredible. I got no complaints, guys. All I know is just going to take a little bit more hard work, and I'm ready for it, man. When I got friends like you by my side, we're going to be okay. The house is beautiful, Suzy. Thank you for asking.
Say hi to the fam for me.
I will, man. I love you guys. The champ, Ace, best of luck to you, man. You guys are doing incredible work. I can continue to keep watching and signing those paychecks, y'all. I'm out of here. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, wow. I want to. That was great. So just go ahead and touch on exactly what he was talking about. And I know for anybody in the audience, for anybody that wants to, is interested in the FWWC, they wonder what it's about. They like, hey, we hear about this fantasy wrestling group. I mean, yes, we are a bunch of nerds, but we love it. I mean, who doesn't love a bunch of nerds? The thing is, you don't have to be a superstar. You make yourself a superstar. You don't have to have a wrestling background. You don't have to be, what your stereotypical idea of a wrestler is. And if anybody, you don't even have to be have a history in the business like a lot of us do. A lot of us that has it, this is just something for us to do. Like prime example, we can't get in the ring anymore. This gives us a chance to live out the rest of, still being a star, still being involved with competition. That livelihood, that brotherhood, the family, like Suzy said, that family of being together and something that we love doing and competing and being a wrestler. And you make the story. That's the fun part about it. And for anybody that don't understand, this is how it's set up. You create your character. When they first bring you into the FWWC, you get with them, and you have issues developing a character, you don't really know what direction you want to take it. You don't know what kind of name you want. You don't really know what you want to do. You just know you want to be a superstar. That's what we're here for. We have a development crew. It's called the FED. So when you start, you'll start off in the FED. They'll help you with your promos. You don't have to be a superstar. You don't have to be jumping in there, acting like The Rock. We prefer you just to be yourself. And that is the point. You get to be yourself and still compete and still be a star. We are actually recognized all over the place. And like Suzy pointed out, there's people that watch the show, that follow the FWWC, that read the role play, that follow the competitions, that are fans that we have never met, but they jump on the page and they know who we are. We go to town and they're like, hey, we've seen your promo. We've seen you on the podcast. We've seen you on the FWWC Tonight, which is coming soon, by the way. And that's the thing. You have a fan base built off of just being fun, just being yourself. And it's set up from a point-based system. And if y'all don't understand how that means, say the competition, say Friday night, SmackDown. It's different than any other Fed group. It's different than any other wrestling fantasy thing, even the fantasy football deal. If you and this person, say me and Suzy are against each other, and I'm trying to give a brief description, but the best way I can. If me and Suzy are against each other, Friday night during SmackDown, we're going to role play. We're going to talk trash before there. We're going to run each other in the dirt, and we're going to build this match up so that people are interested. So then Friday night during the show, we have somebody in a group chat that's going to take picks, and we pick live. This ain't predetermined. This isn't, oh, well, this is their favorite person. They're going to be the championship. No, you earn your titles. You earn your spot in this business when it comes to the competition. So it's all point-based. Friday, I'll use Friday as an example. If me and Suzy against each other, we'll have somebody taking picks. The first match, we'll have somebody announce that match. Me and her will send in our pick on who we think is going to win that match. If you pick right, you get a point for that match. And so on throughout the rest of the show. During the process, you are creating a story. You and this person, me and Suzy, are actually creating a match. We are role-playing. And I know a lot of us, we play Dungeons and Dragons. We play all these role-playing games. And some of us as adults play a lot more than role-play games than we need to do. Anyway, I'll get off that. But you role-play. What you do is you create a story. You create the character that you want to be. And not all of us were cut out to be in-ring stars. A lot of us, when we got into wrestling training, we were told right from the start, you're probably not going to make it. Half the group is not going to make it. You can pay all that money. You can sign up, and you might get stuck as a referee. You might get stuck as a ring hand. You might get stuck, but not everybody's cut out to be an in-ring superstar. And we understand that. That's what the FWWC is for. You live out your career. You live out your whole fantasy of being a wrestling superstar without having to physically get your head bashed in on Mondays and Fridays. So that's what the FWWC is about. And if you're interested, by all means, hit up Dewan, hit up Renee, hit up Suzy. They can actually hook you up, and John Hoss. These guys will get you signed in. They can get you in the development stage, get you a character built. We can get you on the roster and get you competing in no time. And those people right from the rip will know who you are, will follow you, and you'll have a fan base almost your first night. And you don't have to take off. You don't have to skyrocket. It's very rare for somebody to get in here and just take off and skyrocket from the rip. And it happens. But that's what the FWWC is about. It's building that character, building the stories, and building a legacy that you would not get outside of this group. And there ain't no other group. I've seen several of them that people's trying to create. No other group is going to give you the opportunity and the fan base that the FWWC is going to give you. And prime example, we got a whole podcast. We have a show, the FWWC Tonight, that we are actually going to have. What other group is going to do that? What other fantasy group is really going to give you those kind of opportunities? And so if you're interested, get with these guys. And it don't matter. You could be an in-ring competitor now. This could be something you just do on the side just for fun. I mean, we invite anybody. And it don't matter. Male, female, it don't matter. I don't know if we have an age limit. Do we prefer 18 or older? I mean, that's a question.
I think it's either 16 or 18 and older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
if you're if you're younger than 16, I think that's the age limit. I don't think they allow it. In to follow up a little bit about what you said, we sometimes we were used to do a lot of get-togethers, and during WrestleMania, we have a show we call Universe Mania. And I went to Universe Mania 4. It was my first year in the group, and I was at Universe Mania 4. And at Universe Mania 4, it was in Kansas City, and there was an independent wrestler from Kansas City that was at the show, was at the party. And I walked up to him to introduce myself, and I said, hi, and before I could say anything else, he said, you're Suzy Haas. I know exactly who you are. And I mean, this is an independent guy in Kansas City who is a big deal out there. And he's big deal in that area. And there were actually a couple of them there that night. But this one particular one, when I walked up to him and I went to introduce myself, he told me who I was. And he knew me. He knew my work. He knew what I had done already in the FWWC. And I hadn't even been in the FWWC that long. But I had a few storylines that had worked out pretty decently for me. And he knew who I was. And I said earlier in the show, John and I go to a lot of WDWA shows here in this area. And if you don't know who WDWA is, tune in next Tuesday night when John and Gavin Jackson will have Elevation. They will be here for Elevation. I believe it's 7 Eastern time that they like to start. And you'll learn a little bit about WDWA, but it's a big deal in this area. And, you know, I go to the shows all the time out there, and I have fans of that particular promotion who come up to me and say, you know, hey, I saw your promo the other night. That was really great. Oh, man, I think you can take that guy. And that Ace guy, dude, I don't know why you don't just knock him out, you know, or something of that nature. And it's surprising to me how many of them actually do watch our page and how many of them actually do know. I mean, I've held this thing for 1.5 years, and there are fans that still come up to me and say, I can't believe you still got that, you know, and it's like, wow, you've had that forever. You know, and they watch. And
our hardcore title is actually being used at a independent show right now. It's actually part of a storyline there. So
with WDWA, yeah.
We've had guys that I believe that started with the FWWC that has gotten their foot in the door of independent shows strictly based off of the FWWC. They got their promo work done. This opened them up because of the Wrestle Talk podcast. This is a huge opportunity here. Because of the Wrestle Talk podcast, they had opportunity to meet independent wrestlers, promoters from all over the country, and had a chance to say, hey, you know what? You're local. You're right here where I'm at. Why don't we meet up? Why don't you come to one of our shows and we can talk? And all that happened because of being in the FWWC and joining the Wrestle Talk podcast. So
if you're in the Kansas City area, you may know a Kansas City wrestler who actually got his start here, learned his promo skills, and went into training. He's El Diablo Vega. He was a big star here in our group, and he is now an independent wrestler in Kansas City, and he's doing awesome. I mean, I believe he's a double champ, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I
believe so.
So, yeah. So if you want to, you know, if you wish that you could be the same thing that you see these other guys do, if you wish you could be an FW or WWE star and you just don't have the training or any of that, come see us, because we're the closest thing you can get without actually stepping in the ring.
That's it. I'll rephrase that. I say we make you a star. No, you make yourself a star. That is the whole point of this. You take yourself, you put yourself in this stuff, and the sky's the limit. It's however far you want to take your character. You don't have somebody over your shoulder saying, hey, you have to portray yourself in this way, or you have to do this, you have to do that. No, man. I mean, obviously, there's rules and you got to be professional. But say, prime example, if you want to be a heel, man, just be a heel. If you feel better, if you feel more comfortable being the face, I mean, just whatever your desire is as far as your path to being a superstar, man, that's what FWWC is for. And get your promo work right. You don't have to be, you know, like I said, you don't have to be The Rock on the mic. You can stumble. Matter of fact, we had a guy that was literally on an oxygen tank. And when I first started, I thought that was the most bizarre thing because I'd never seen that before. But he done promos still on an oxygen tank and did good. Nobody cared. Nobody picked on about it. Nobody cared.
When I started, we had a gentleman who was in a wheelchair who actually did promos. And it was, believe me, if anybody can do this, it's not that hard. And if you want to be good, you can. But you know, Ace, we could sit here and talk all night about this, but unfortunately, we are kind of at the end of our show. So at this time, before we head out, you know, once more time, let's say that Wrestle Talk Podcast, you know, would like to thank all of our sponsors, the Retro Zone, Painter's Dream Productions, the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, Doomed Outfitters, owned by yours truly over there, World Domination Wrestling Alliance, and the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy wrestling group. So, again, if you want to be a wrestler and you just don't have the time or the money and you can't go to school, or maybe you have some reason why you just can't get in the ring, FWWC's place for you. Come join our family, become a part of a group of friends, a group of family that we're there for you. No matter what you've got going on in your life, there's always somebody who will be there for you, that will help you and that will talk to you. And inside the ring, outside the ring, we may trash talk you, but outside the ring, you are family. And that's the greatest part about this group.
Definitely.
So, and if you have a t-shirt need, if you have a cup need and you want something put on it, or you want a title belt of your own for whatever reason, that man right there is the man you want to see. Doomed Outfitters.
Doomed Outfitters. We are doomed as a species.
And just look him up online. Look him up online. He's there, and he can do just about anything you need him to do. So, Ace, it's been a pleasure. It was great having it was great having Perry with us tonight. It was awesome to see Dewan Mills, and it was awesome to have Renee come on and do a little talking with us. And even though he gave you a little hard time about those Cowboys, but like I said, as a Washington fan, I'm not gonna trash the Cowboys yet, but we'll see. As you all can see, we're very diverse here. Yeah, we're called Wrestle Talk, but sometimes you don't know. You might hear baseball, you might hear basketball, football. You never know. NASCAR, who knows? But be sure to check out FWWC Tonight 2.0. Yep. We'll be coming back soon. If you are not a member of the FWWC, come on, join us. Be a fan. Check out the page. Check out what we do. And if you like it and you want to try it out, hit somebody up and let us know, and we'll help you get in there. We'll help you get started. So again, 525 is in the books, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in. And Ace, it's been a pleasure. And I will see you again sometime soon.
Yes, ma'am. Take it easy now. Good night, everybody.
Yep. Night, everybody. Uh-oh. Where's that?
Well, we say good night. You're here.
Well, we say good night, but then we stick around. You know what I'm saying?
I know, right? They can't get. That's what it is.
All right. Good night, everybody.
And now it's just being awkward.
Yeah. I keep hitting in stream.